On Memorial Day in 2015 at 8 a.m., I met up with two trail running buddies.
Hey ladies! My brave ladies!
One a marathoner, the other an ultra-marathoner for the adventure of a lifetime. The goal, to run from Cloverdale to Hopland on 15 miles of abandoned railroad track once used for logging. Why? To conduct research for Undead Ultra, my forthcoming novel about Kate, an ultra runner who embarks on a 200-mile foot race in the midst of a zombie apocalypse to find her son. The course selected for this adventure is part of the course traveled by the characters in my novel. What better way to imbue my novel with realistic details than to experience them myself? I dubbed my adventure gals the Zombie Recon Team, ZRT for short. The day started off cool and overcast, perfect running weather. 30 seconds into the adventure, we knew we were in for a challenge. The railroad tracks were completely overgrown with weeds, many of them taller than me. In some parts, the tracks were so overgrown that we were forced to find a way around them, often skirting even larger outcroppings of poison oak. The railroad tracks themselves presented their own obstacles. Abandoned and left to their own devices over the years, the wood had rotted out in many places. In some places, whole sections of earth had collapsed and slid away, leaving metal rails dangling in midair. 3 miles in, we hit our first major obstacle. The tracks ran into a tunnel. The first problem? The tunnel had, at some point, caught on fire and been partially buried in an avalanche. The second problem? A rather large mountain sat in front of us. We scaled the debris left behind by the avalanche. At the very top was a 3-foot opening that led into the burned-out tunnel. We pulled out headlamps and picked our way down a hill of slippery gravel. Our headlamps provided little relief to the sun-bereft interior. Charred railroad ties stood up on end, pointing up like giant spears. We picked our way through this dark landscape, only to discover the far end had completely collapsed. There was no way through. We crawled back out into the daylight and tackled our next task, finding a way back to the railroad tracks, which were on the other side of a rather large mountain. We tried scaling the mountain, but quickly discovered the near vertical slopes to be covered by loose, slippery debris. We opted to try and find a way around. We tried climbing over some huge boulders, but found nothing but sheer drop-off on the other side. The only thing left for us to do was to go into the water. With cell phones held up above our heads, we found ourselves chest high in the chilly river currents. From there, we scrambled on all fours up a steep, slippery slope choked with poison oak. And there it was at last, the busted, long-forgotten railroad track. We passed through 3 more tunnels, all of them quiet and dark, the entrances decorated with beautiful graffiti art. As a writer, I could not have asked for a more textured setting. I can't wait to weave the details of this adventure into the lives of my characters. I have no doubt it will breathe unique life into my novel.